Well, it's been a busy couple of years for the Triumph motorcycle company. It all kicked off with the Street Twin, followed by that beautiful Thruxton R, and then of course the T120. In the last episode, John told us what he thought of the Bonneville Bobber, and then in a couple of weeks' time we've got the launches of the Street Cup and of course the Scrambler. Amongst all that madness, and placed in between the Street Twin and the T120 is this beaut, the T100. After a bracing day riding around London and the outskirts on the T100, I thought I'd stop at the Ace Cafe to warm my fingers and toes because they're absolutely freezing, and also to eat some really healthy beige food. Look at that. Lush. Anyway, back to the T100. It's named after the iconic original 1959 bike, which got its name from the Bonneville Salt Flats, where Triumph achieved a number of land speed records. Now, Triumph really seem to be leading this modern classic wave, and love it or hate it, all you've got to do is look at their sales figures to see how popular this genre of motorcycling is. The T100 is meant to be the entry level into the Bonneville family, and in the summer they're actually launching an A2 license kit that you can get fitted at the dealers, so this makes it even more accessible for younger riders. The engine is a 900cc liquid-cooled 8-valve parallel twin like we see in the Street Twin. It is a 900, not a 1200 like the T120, but it does have the T120 frame. So like I said, it's liquid-cooled like its bigger brother, but it does have these really cool engine fins which make it look really classic, give it that nostalgic feel, more authentic. And Triumph have done a really good job of hiding the radiator and the tubing. What I would say is that it's noticeably lighter than the T120. It handles really well, which is great for inner city riding. A good word to describe this bike is smooth. The power delivery is silky smooth, and that's really helped by the ride-by-wire throttle. The torque assist clutch is super light, and that all helps with the easy ride. But luckily, the twin P-Tutor exhausts remind you that you're on this classic, iconic bike. All the power is down low, and it's actually got 18% more torque than the old T100. It's really nice for inner city riding, and you don't feel like you have to give it full beans all the time. You know, if you do want that extra torque and that extra power, but still that same looking bike, then go for the T120. Maybe you'd go for the T120 as well if you're going to take a pillion, because I think any added extra weight on this bike will dull it down, take the sparkle out of it, and make it a little bit sluggish. It's got ABS and traction control, as you would expect, but there aren't any rider modes like the T120, which, along with power, I guess that's what you're spending your extra 1500 on. It's got a single disc twin caliper on the front, and the brakes are pretty good. You know, it's frosty and greasy out on the roads. They're perfectly adequate, as is the suspension. Let's face it, you don't buy this bike because of the brakes or the suspension, you buy it because of how it looks. The gearbox is really smooth. Again, that word smooth, but it is. There's no effort required to change gear or find neutral on this bike. The only thing I would say is that when I was on the dual carriageway, I was searching for 6th gear. It hasn't got one. But again, maybe that's why you go for the T120. The ergonomics are really good. The seat is nice and low, which is great for less confident riders. The handlebars are in a really comfortable place. I actually really like this riding position, especially as I'm getting older. It just feels really comfy. And also the pegs, they're in the right place too. It's got a very stylish dashboard, twin clocks with a gear position indicator, service indicator, range 20, fuel gauge, and traction control settings. If you're like me and can't be without your phone, but it's always dying of battery, then don't panic, because there's a USB socket right under the seat, which most bikes have nowadays anyway. Just like the other bikes in the Bonneville range, the finish is typically classic Triumph. They've gone heavy on the chrome, oh yeah, which normally I don't really like. I quite like it on this bike. So they've got the brushed aluminium engine covers and those iconic original looking tank badges, which on this bike are plastic. Now I know that's a shame, but I didn't even realise, and it still looks really good. The T100 comes in two models. The model that I've been riding today comes in 3 colour options. So you've got blue and white, which is the one just out there. You've got orange and white, and also jet black. The other model is the T100 Black. Now this looks really sexy, especially if you're really opposed to chrome. There's not any silver in sight, everything is matte black. There are over 150 different accessories that you can pimp your T100 with. There are grab rails, cruise control, heated grip, which I wish I had today because the extremities were feeling a little bit cold. So how much does this bike cost? Well, both models are £8,300, about £1,500 cheaper than its bigger brother. More affordable than its bigger brother. Part of the appeal of riding this kind of bike is to do with style and the way it makes you feel. And I know that it's not everybody's cup of tea. Some of you hate a hipster, but how can you argue when it looks this good?